What are some things that sound like compliments but are actually insults? See you later, not if I see you first. It took me so long to realize that phrase actually meant that if that person saw you first they would find a way to avoid you so you don't see them. Yeah, I tend to use it when I'm trying to convey that somebody's hard work paid off. It's sort of like, I want to acknowledge that you worked really hard and now you're reaping the deserved fruits of your labors. Edit, a sprog, I got a sprog. As a director of high school theater, if a parent says, it looks like everyone on stage had a good time, it means, no one in the audience enjoy this show. I don't know if it's the mom in me, but I have never not enjoyed a performance, especially if my kids are there. You are on a stage putting yourself out there. You go be awesome. Edit to add, thank you all for the flair. I have internet points. As a person in theater, after an audition, it is not a compliment when the conversation with the director is this, no matter how much they smile. D, that was great, Ashley. Oh, thanks. D, are you in voice lessons? Haha, yes I am. D, good, keep doing it. Even though it can be used as a compliment, more often than not I hear, they're just a free spirit, used as a subtle way of saying, they make bad decisions. This happened quite a bit at my cousin-in-law's funeral. She was so passionate about everything she did, she wasn't afraid to speak her mind, she was such a free spirit. Always doing whatever made her happy, she was a horrible selfish person who spent her last weeks making everyone around her miserable. It was kind of amazing to watch everyone suddenly decide that they'd always loved and admired her. Apparently I needed to vent, I apologize. I feel kinda bad about this, but also not. When my grandma died, not many people got up to say anything nice about her at the eulogy. Mostly because she was mean and talked shit about everyone and was just generally not a nice person. However, one of my cousins did go up and said, well, I guess I'm supposed to say something endearing about grandma. Less than pause greater than well, I can't think of anything so I'll just say something she would say, this music is dull. Gina's sweater is ugly. Who wears a sweater to a funeral? Everyone laughed. Good old grandma. Keeping it real. There's still one step over the people who tell you that they always follow their heart. No, motherfucker, it isn't always a grand idea to follow every goddamn whim and fancy that possesses you. It just means you're a loose cannon, and not in the hard-boiled 1950s detective sense either. More of prone to irrational decisions and being principally unreliable. Edit, wow, this really blew up. To be clear, if you're not making important life decisions based off fleeting urges or deliberately disregarding how your actions affect others, you're probably fine. Nobody is going to complain about you putting sprinkles in your sushi because I'm so quirky teehee. So stop pissing in my coffee, I like my coffee. My mother is a gold mine for these, it is so nice you can focus on your newborn and not worry about what your house looks like. I love that you don't care what people think of you. Many others that have already been stated. An older gentleman I used to work with would tell people at work they were sufficient. Edit, I am sincerely pleased that many of you found my comment adequate, thank you. I had a teacher comment on my report card that I was doing acceptable work. I had an A+. A is acceptable, B is barely passing, C is catastrophic, D is disowned, F is forgotten forever. Asian grading scale, but that's how I was raised. I worked with a music producer who had to take a few gigs early on producing for young female singers who often were not very talented but had a lot of money to give him for his work. Instead of lying to them when they'd ask for his feedback on each take, he'd say things like, wow, that was something, you really did your thing, that was so you. Now whenever I'm forced to politely react to people I don't like, mostly in the context of work, I always use one of the above if I'm unimpressed, lol. Kind of related just because of music. I did marching band in college. Played trumpet. During full field rehearsal the director said that I was too loud. Next run through I just didn't play. Right after he told me whatever I did was perfect. I told him I just didn't play that time. He said, perfect, keep doing that. I'd never been roasted so publicly. I went to school for music and had a professor like this, who would just say honest, neutral stuff with a really positive tone that sounds like a compliment but didn't actually say anything. Now that was a run-through, you really played it. I've never heard it like that before. What a performance. My dad thinks babies are inherently ugly, so when people show him baby pics or whatever he just says, now that's a baby. My wife and I had a baby 9 months ago and we keep having people tell us what a wondrous experience it must be. And we're like, nah, this part's kinda dull. Honestly, we're looking forward to when she has a human brain instead of a baby brain. So far her milestone is that she looked at me and said, Dada. Which sounds impressive, but 10 minutes earlier she called the couch, Dada, and 5 minutes after that she called the cat, Dada, and when she pointed at me, I was sitting on the couch with the cat. Also, she didn't say, Dada, she said, da-da-da-da-da-da, and kinda kept on going. So yeah, we're looking forward to better communication here. Anything involving the word brave. You are such an adventurous dresser. I wish I was brave like that. I hate when people tell me I'm brave for choosing to not wear makeup. No one ever says that to men, so take off with your backhanded compliment. I could maybe understand if I was doing it to make a statement, bucking societal expectations or whatever, but I'm not. I'm just lazy and like to rub my eyes with reckless abandon. I love what you tried to do with your hair. Whenever someone shows you a picture of their newborn child you go, "Ah, it's so small." You can easily change the words but essentially say the same thing and the meaning changes entirely. For example, if you raise your voice an octave or two and then say, "Oh my gosh, look at the tiny little baby," it's suddenly perceived as cute. Edit, source, dad edit 2, it appears as though I have been given Reddit gold. If someone could kindly reply to this or message me directly as to what I can do with this, it would be much appreciated. A lot of polite British sayings, to be honest. I've worked in a number of countries, and sometimes I have to remind myself that extreme understatement is burned into the bones of British culture to a much deeper depth than anywhere else in the world. That's very brave, what the fuck, I think that you're on the right track, you are a turbo moron, etc. There's nothing quite like biting British civility. How interesting, equals, you are incredibly dull, fascinating, equals, how tedious, delightful, equals, dreadful, including email sign-offs. Kind regards, equals, I'm annoyed, regards, equals, fuck you. P.S. Edit, I'm getting dozens of replies from some people who are concerned that they use this, and some who are downright angry and telling me how wrong I am. This was mostly tongue-in-cheek British humor. It's just fine to put kind regards, if you want, it generally doesn't imply any ill will and is quite common. I even do it myself. Don't fret that you are upsetting people, I was just trying to make a funny. With slutty, succulent, moist regards. Adam. Before I retired, I was once asked by our HR department to write a non-lawsuit producing reference for a former employee of mine that I had a pretty low opinion of. I wrote that they always met my expectations. German reference letters are a goldmine for this. The law says that you must compliment the employee. So what do employers write? Things like this, always tried to fulfill our expectations, and failed, great delegation skills, made others do his work, confident in his abilities, arrogant know-it-all, ability to assert himself, has anger management problems, empathy for colleagues, tried to sleep with half the company, strong sense for justice, was agitating against the management. We hope he will be very successful in the future, because he wasn't successful here. Good thing you are pretty. It was a bit of an ongoing joke in my sorority that when someone would do or say something stupid, we'd say, "At least you're pretty." It was always meant in good fun and wasn't supposed to be malicious at all. We'd usually ham it up with a condescending pat on the head. Right after graduating I said that to a woman who was in a group one was out drinking with in the new city I moved to. I even did the head pat. She hated me after that. Whoops. Something about being on top of the bell curve. You so beautiful that you could be a part-time model. My grandpa is famous for saying, "You look good, today." He's a funny guy lol. I'm surprised I'm attracted to you. I don't normally like short guys. My ex. When I first met my boyfriend's ex-mates, 3 set of them said, "You look nothing like his ex-girlfriends, they were all thin and pretty, thanks." A male friend of my sister once told her, "You know, if you had half a brain you'd be dangerous." That was 30 years ago and she still can't figure out if it was an insult or a compliment. Anytime a compliment is followed by, "For once," or, "For a change," e.g., "Your hair looks nice for once." I had a woman at my last high school reunion tell me, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's you. You're so handsome now. Yours is perfect, I don't like them big anyway. You look so pretty, so much better without your glasses." Edit, a lot of people are asking why this can be insulting, or saying that the opposite is worse, you look better with your glasses, and IDK about others, but for me, I've been wearing my glasses for practically my whole life. I'm talking before preschool here. When someone says I look better without them, it makes me feel slightly worse because I don't even think I look like myself without my glasses. It's like looking at a different person in the mirror. Someone thinking that person who never even shows up under normal circumstances looks better is a little off-putting. If I only had glasses for a couple years, I'd probably think the opposite was worse too, since the person without the glasses would feel more like me. When I worked in retail, my favorite one for rude customers was, "I hope the rest of your day is as pleasant as you are." Had this recently from my manager, "You seem to do a great job with insert disorganized client's name here because you are so alike." Took me a couple of minutes to work that one out.